Hi everyone, my name is Salia and welcome back to HustleSZN. If you can't tell, I'm feeling kind of sick today, so I sort of said, screw my responsibilities, I'm just gonna read. I'm actually right now in the middle of Red, White, and Royal Blue. I'm pretty stoked to read this book. Everyone has been loving it so far. I'm actually already on page 42. My initial thoughts, I guess I had expected from some of the reading vlogs that I had seen that it was more of like a hate to love story. The one person who's doing most of the hating, like one of the main characters, it's so obviously hating, but actually it's an obsession kind of hating. Do you know what I mean? Like it was almost, I don't know if campy is the right word. Like it was just, it's so ridiculous, this book at times. I have a feeling like the tone of it is just that it's gonna lean into the ridiculousness. I just wasn't expecting that. I don't necessarily like or hate it yet. One thing that I really liked was the banter between all of the main characters. I love. I guess you probably want a premise. This guy over here, he is the first son of the president, who's a woman, woo woo. And then this guy over here is one of the princes in England, or maybe Wales, I think, somewhere in the UK. So it's just about like political figureheads kind of liking each other. Basically, it starts off like because of their hatred for one another, they kind of ruin the relationships between the UK and America, and so they are forced to go have like a weekend together where they are going to prove to the world that they're great friends. And I am not far enough to know what happens, but I'm pretty sure like that's where the hate to love trope kind of comes in. Anywho, so he has a sister and this like best friend, and the three of them are always together, and the banter between them is pretty good. That's my favorite part of the novel so far. Yeah, my only other issue was that I didn't know if this was a term or not because I'm not American. But for this guy, the president's son, he's like nicknamed F. Sotus. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's F-S-O-T-U-S. And for the life of me, I had no idea what that was, and I reread the first like 30 pages multiple times trying to figure out like where this nickname came from until finally it hit that it meant the first son of the US. At least I think that's what it means. It's never confirmed anywhere. And then I Googled it thinking that it's like a common American term, but there's nothing. Like there is no common American term. Alright, so let's read and then I will update. I literally only read like 13 pages, but I'm popping in to say that I'm liking it a lot more. Not that I wasn't liking it, but I was a bit undetermined. But I am liking it. I love the ridiculousness. There was so far some mild, naughty wrestling, which I was super into. I'm already kind of like squealing when I read. That's always a good sign. So at least I ship the main ship, you know? And I love that even in the face of like this possible romance, our American guy, like his banter just hasn't died down even a little bit. And I love how, like, even though I don't approve of pushing people's buttons for no reason, I really appreciate it in this book. It's just really funny to watch. I'm gonna get back to reading now. I've gotten my sunscreen and we're doing round 2. I'm only on page 146 now, so even though I feel like I've been reading this book for a while, I'm not moving forward. Like every time I check, I haven't gone much further. It's not slow or dragging necessarily, it's just taking a really long time to read. I'm still obviously enjoying it. I wish it was going by just a bit quicker. I am going to try to get to page 200 today before I give up on this. I figured I read like about 50 pages, so I should update a little bit. I've been trying to think of like what are my thoughts on this book, and honestly like there's not a whole lot that I want to say. It's good, it's fun, it's gay, it's great, but like there's not, I don't know, it's like almost like there's not too much to comment on, maybe because I'm not far enough into it. The only thing I will mention is that I do wish that the politics played a bit more of a role in the story. I feel like the political setting is just a backdrop for the romance to happen, whereas I'd like to see it kind of interact with the romance that's also happening as well. Like it's there and it's a tiny, like stuff is happening, it's not like you never hear about it, and because it's from Alex's point of view, you get the American political side a lot more than the British, but I wish there was a bit more to it. I just feel like it's a wasted opportunity because that's the part that makes this romance kind of unique. This is technically new adults, and I kind of like how comfortable everyone is discussing weird sexual stuff, because in YA, when there are sexy scenes, it's romanticized to the point of their bodies tangled and you didn't know where one began and one ended, and then like end scene. With this, you obviously it's a little less PG-13, so if you're not into that, that's fine. But there's not too much smut in my opinion, but just enough to like remind you that they're not 15, you know? So all in all, I'm still enjoying it. Like I said, I'm gonna go read 50 more pages and then see, hopefully I have a more interesting update. I just feel like there's not much to comment on. I'd love to see some of Henry's family, which is the British guy. Like we don't even really know much about the British side. This will probably be my last update for today. I didn't make it to 200 pages. I'm actually at 173, but I reached a place where I am really satisfied with the story. Anyways, literally the next 30 pages did a lot of what I was saying I was hoping the book would do. We get to learn a bit more about Henry's backstory and his family, and there were just some heavier moments to kind of round out the really cute fluffy stuff that was going on. I'm still really enjoying this book, and the more I read it, the more I actually come to appreciate how much this book could mean for someone who might be able to see themselves or identify with some of these characters, just because like I read it, I am straight, I feel seen, just because of like the words and the references and the stuff they're talking about just feels very day to day, the way me and my friends talk. But on top of that, there's just so many like little things that are kind of hinted at that really make you appreciate what life is like if you are queer or if you don't identify as being straight, and just like some of the smaller struggles that you would go through day to day. And you know, I think about like how when I read a book with POC and how much I love it and how much like it's all those little small things that add up that you're like, damn, this person really gets it. And because I'm not queer myself, I obviously can't like say for sure that this gets that, but so far from what I've seen, it hasn't been problematic. And obviously like you should check out some reviewers who do identify as that and can give you a better opinion. For me at least, it's opened my eyes to quite a few things, and there's just like little moments that I really appreciate. And that's another part of this story in general that I like, is just the tone of everything. There's like this light, fun-hearted, like almost everything's a joke, because Alex doesn't really take things seriously and he's always making light of events, and it's just an easy way to digest some of the more like heavier topics that happen in the book. That's fun too. Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm gonna pause now, go do some other things, and then I will probably check in tomorrow or later this weekend and hopefully finally finish this book. Hello, I'm back. It is Sunday. Nope, it's not. It's Saturday, 3:15 p.m. Well, you totally can't see that. It's Saturday, 3:15. I've had a fairly good day. I worked out this morning and I went to the library, got some books. I would show them to you, but they're for some future videos. This book has just been taking me so long. Even though I'm loving it, it's just kind of slow. So we are now at 188. I read like 10 pages before bed last night. So I'm going to set aside, I don't know, what should we do? Like an hour? Let's do an hour. I'm going to attempt to read for an hour and then update you and see how that goes. Lately, for whatever reason, I have been just very easily distracted and my focus has not been the best. So let's hope that this works. I've closed the door, I'll put on some music, get in the mood, and yeah, I'll see you back in an hour and we'll see how many pages I can read in that time. There's starting to be more politics now in the book, and I am living for it. It's still not nearly as much as I would like, but It's like there, it's happening. I'm obsessed with how Alex is both like the most type A when it comes to his work, but he's also the rebel child. Kind of into it. Although I think in some ways June might be a bit more of a rebel, but it's just interesting. They're all so cute! Also, I really appreciate Henry's mood swings. They remind me so much of me, and I like it. He will be like happy, 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 and then just for absolutely no reason be in the shittiest mood, like want to withdraw from everybody, not want to talk to anyone, and there's just no rhyme or reason to it. And I like that Alex likes that, because it's like hard to find people who actually like that in a person, but it's just nice. Alright, I did it. I read for an hour. I am now on page 241. I think, I didn't do the math, but roughly speaking, I think that's like a page a minute. I'm not the fastest reader, but I read for the whole hour and only took one pee break, so I'm quite proud of myself. I am going to try to finish this book hopefully today, and then hopefully like finally wrap this up tomorrow. I just want to say that overall I feel like the pace of the story is picking up a little bit. I'm loving that there's some new conflicts. I am absolutely loving the friendship group in this. Like the banter was good with just the American friends. Now that that friend group has gone from like 3 to like 6 or 7 of them, it's so great. Alex and all of his friends, like the security people, all of them, all these interactions are just so cute, and I love nothing more than this like close-knit unit where loyalty just reigns supreme, and like people just do the cutest things for each other, and I'm really obsessed with that. And just like how good it makes you feel. Like I really, 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 really hope that in my future when I go and work, that whoever my team is, I make them feel like half as good as these people make each other feel, because just be a really nice world if people did that, you know? I also will say, like, if you're not super into smut, this is smuttier than I thought it would be. It's definitely not nearly as smutty as the Kiss Quotient, which was literally like every other page. Like a lot of sex happens, but it's not always explicitly explained. Sometimes it's just kind of referred to. And there's also, if you're not into it, like there's quite a lot of drinking, which like I'm here for, but just so you know, there's a little bit of romanticized drinking and partying. But yeah, otherwise. Hey everyone, I was just about to film another video, so I was getting ready for that, and I just finished this book, so I figured I might as well wrap up this reading diary while we're here. So I'm really excited to finally be done this book. Even though it's only 418 pages, it's just a slow read. It's a little bit dense, it's a little bit slow paced, it just takes a while to get there. That being said, I did really enjoy the book. I flip-flop between how I want to present the book, because I do have some criticisms, but I think that the parts of the book that I like far outweigh the few criticisms that I have, and usually I'm kind of critical, so I focus on the criticisms, but I actually really liked this book, so part of me doesn't really want to highlight the criticisms, but I'll tell you what I don't like and then I'll tell you what I do like about it. So just quickly, I might have already touched on these, but again, it's a few days later, as always is the case with me, so I don't even really remember what I said. But for me, I wish that there was a bit less emphasis on the romance and a bit more of the political drama and scheming that was happening. And I still ultimately feel like we didn't get enough of the political drama that was happening in England. We got so much of the American one, even though I would have liked more, to be honest. And I would have liked more from the British side too. I recognize that this is just a preference, so if you hate drama and love romance, like this might not really affect your opinion of the book. I just felt like if we were gonna focus so much on the romance, then maybe the pacing should have been a bit faster and maybe the writing could have been a bit less dense, because in a way, the descriptions of this book, they're so poetic and they're so beautiful and whatnot, and it kind of reminds me a bit of like Donna Tartt's writing even, which I recently saw on a Chaos of Books' channel. She called it literary fiction, so I don't know if I'm using that term correctly, but I'm gonna say that this book reads a little bit like literary fiction, and maybe that's because it's more adult versus YA, which is what I usually read. But I just feel like even adult romance, a lot of the times, it's just like a very fast-paced you know, read. Like, you can sit down in one day and read them, and this one was slower than that. And if you were gonna slow down the pacing, then maybe we should have gotten some of the other stuff instead of just the romance. Because if it was just the romance, I genuinely think this book could have been a lot shorter. Also, another kind of preference-y thing, but the romance just got so sappy somewhere in the middle of it. Like, it just became a lot. Again, if you like sappy romances, if you like these long love declarations and emails to each other, maybe you'll read it and think it's super cute and beautiful, and I'm just a cynic, but it was a lot. It was a lot. So I personally didn't love it, and it was weird because like I shipped the couple. I loved all the characters. I just like, it was too much. I didn't need to see every time y'all touched hands, every time y'all kissed, every time. Like, it just got to be a lot. There were times where I was like, y'all need to concentrate on what's actually happening and stop trying to find places to go make out. Like, please stop thinking with your dick for 2 seconds. And I just wish that the story went a little bit faster, and like I really felt like I had to push myself to finish this book even though I was liking the story and I loved the characters, which was a bit weird. So I don't know if it's editing, I don't know if it's writing style, I don't know if it just should have had a little bit less descriptions. I'm not quite sure what it was, but something about the style of it was just a little slow for me. So the good things though about this book was I just loved how progressive it was. If you need a break from whatever the hell Trump is doing in the States right now, you're gonna appreciate this book. 2, it normalizes so much diversity in the book, which is absolutely amazing, and it makes you, like, it's kind of the America you wish existed. You know, we got a female, I'm not American. There's a female president, you can be open about your sexuality, all these things is really great. Like I said, the banter, great. If you feel like America is going to shit and you want some hope, I definitely think this book can give that to you. I also, like I said, if you can connect to any of these characters and just want to be reminded that you're allowed to be happy in a society that kind of knocks you down a lot, you can find that in this book. So like, I appreciated all of those things, and I really do think that for the right person this book could be so meaningful and could give them so much hope and whatnot. So I don't want to take away from that, which is why I kind of felt like maybe I shouldn't go so ham on the criticisms. And my criticisms really is I just didn't like the pacing and a little bit of the flowery writing of the book, to be honest, because otherwise, like, I loved the characters, I loved the banter. All the side things that we got, I loved. I just wish we had more of. So those are my feelings on the book. I think I'd give it like a 4 stars. Maybe 4.5, if maybe 4.5, depending on my mood. And I think it's one of those books that for me personally wasn't a 5-star read, but I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it to someone else. The author, Casey, just seems like such a cool person, and I can't wait to see more of what that author puts out, because if this is the debut novel, I'm like really excited to see what else will come next. If you read the book, please let me know what you thought, and I'll see you next time. Bye!